ladies and gentlemen, my full review and breakdown of Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 1 and Part 2. Let's begin. How do you do, G-Pod crew? It's your Naughty Body Potty here, and today we're going to be reviewing and doing a full breakdown of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, this is going to be a spoiler for review, because I know a lot of people are going to be looking for that. And then we'll go into the spoilers, which will be the full breakdown of Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1, 20-minute full breakdown. Part 2, shorter. But I will state this. This show so far has been very impressive in my eyes. Such touching moments, such gripping moments, but oh man, the way they just ended Part 2 just makes me more excited to see the last 4 episodes. I'm thoroughly excited for this, and whoever set this up is doing a great job of putting things together and making things flow and feel like a Star Wars movie, or show, I should say, more or less. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, here's the thing. I will say when it comes to Star Wars, they're doing way better in my eyes than they are doing the Marvel series of shows on Disney+. Astonishingly amazing when it comes to these shows. I mean, I choked up at one point when I saw something in this show. Here, you know what? I'm going to show you guys me choking up, but I'm not going to tell you what part it is. Maybe you can guess. Oh my God. Oh, and just as adventurous as ever, too. I'm so glad they did this. And you can see the love. And there you guys go. A little sneak peek of what's going on. So, what do I think so far? Well, this show has just been astonishing. Of course, we don't have the full series for me to go to full review. But the anticipation of what's going to come next is pretty amazing. And I think I know what's going to happen. I have predictable outcomes of what's going to happen. But honestly, I don't want to go into all that until we get there. And I will talk about my thoughts in the outro of this video. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and do one quick thing. A little promo, I should say. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and get started with the full breakdown. You just saw the arrival of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi on Fortnite. He's available for a limited time in the Fortnite item shop to purchase, and is and will be the greatest addition to your Fortnite locker. The skin and pickaxe come as a bundle, as well as you can get the emote and the glider, and all are available. And if you pick them up as a bundle, then you get a free loading screen. Now don't miss on this opportunity to grab our first Jedi Master in Fortnite. But before you do, make sure to plug in my supported creator code on the bottom right of the screen. That code is Putty, P-U-T-T-Y. Again, that code is Putty, P-U-T-T-Y, #ad. And it only seems right to use the code of a Jedi Master Putty to purchase a Jedi Master. Thank you. Again, Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the Fortnite item shop. So if you can, please use my supporter creator code Putty, P-U-T-T-Y, in the Fortnite item shop when you make your purchase of the skin. And with that being said, guys, let's go straight into my full breakdown with this, however you want to look at it. This is my spoiler alert. Spoilers ahead for my full breakdown. Spoilers, everyone. I don't have the big letters on the screen, but hopefully you understand when I say spoilers if you haven't seen the episodes. Stop now. Stop the video and come back for my full breakdown. And with the spoiler alert out of the way, let's start off with part 1 of my full breakdown and Easter eggs of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, for our first breakdown, we have the Younglings. Now, this looks like it's a recap. Well, actually, not a recap, sorry, because I did do the recap prior to this. But this, I'm not sure why they're showing this. Again, as I do the breakdown, and I'm sure I've already said this, it's going to be as I watch it, so we can get the content out to you quickly and literally have that first observer moment. So what you're seeing here is younglings. Younglings training in the ways of the Force. Now, if you remember, there was younglings that got slaughtered mercilessly by Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. And, you know, we didn't really get to see the slaughter because they're not going to show it. But just the idea and thought of it was pretty horrible, to say the least. So that was the first real encounter to the dark side for Anakin. So I hope we're not about to relive that here, because I'm not sure why they're showing this. But if we relive that here, that's going to be a heart-wrenching moment to see it again. Either way, just even a thought. Okay, and now to add to what just happened, I'm predicting this is literally after Order 66. And the reason I state that is because if you remember, in Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine sent out for Order 66, which meant to kill all Jedi, including younglings, including Padawans, everyone that is associated with the Jedi and in the powers of the Force were to be killed. And this looks like it's just another part of Order 66 being established. Now, if you're new to Star Wars, surprisingly, these are Jawas, but you're also going to see a lot of different aliens throughout the universe. And of course, you see a droid to the left-hand side, which is one of the R2 units. But the reason I want to bring this up is because prior to this, you saw a long-trunked character that kind of looks in the frames of a Kubaz, or even you know, not really a Twi'lek, more of like, I'm thinking of the species, and I can't think of it right now. My point to the whole thing is we're going to see a lot of new species and old species within the lore of this, just like it did in, you know, Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. But of course, the most prominent ones is Jawas. So be prepared for a lot of breakdowns of characters that you may not be familiar with, and then some that you may be looking for, but don't have any original lore that were created. The great thing about making shows like this for Disney Plus is that they get the opportunity to make new characters that could become action figures, because in the world of Star Wars, especially back in the day when Star Wars first came out, almost every character that came on screen got their own action figure. It's not the same now because production of these figures just cost a lot, but if there is one that is quite beloved, that they see even for a brief second, it tends to get its own action figure. So don't be surprised if you see one that's new here that you've never seen before, ends up being embraced by the fandom that is Star Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Inquisitors. Now, the Inquisitors are they work for the Sith, aka Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, to hunt down Jedi. So, the first one we see here is the Grand Inquisitor. The meat and potato is the one that leads the group. There is also the fifth, which, keep in mind, the Inquisitors are named by numbers to keep with their ranks. So this is actually the fifth right here. And then there's Reva, the sister and the third Inquisitor, which there is a second. There is another sister that is the second Inquisitor that actually was in Jedi Fallen Order. So the Inquisitors, again, are made to hunt Jedi, and of course Jedi have to, of course, protect themselves. So they, of course, are part of the Sith. They are lethal, and I don't feel these Inquisitors here are going to last going up against the great Master Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, the camel creature you see right here that Obi-Wan is pulling to a side here as a carry vehicle or a carry animal and a vehicle is called an EOPIE, and the EOPIE first appeared in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. We haven't really seen much of them outside of like the lore, the books, things of that nature. So it is nice to see an EOPIE end up reappearing in the series with Obi-Wan. It makes sense too. So I want to go ahead and make it clear off the bat that I am already liking the aesthetics that when it comes to this series, and the reason I state that is the cooking apparatus here looks something that would be in the later movies, mixed with the cooking of his food having more of that Force Awakens feel. So you can see the transition of when technology was magical grandeur in the prequels going into the original movies, the OG movies, the ones from the late 70s, early 80s, that then move into the new Disney movies, or The Mandalorian even as well. So what makes it great is you see how technology is still advanced, but is becoming more readily available for poorer people, but is still showing its signs of age or discrepancies, as in like it's not as fancy because they live in a poorer area of Tatooine, which of course he does live in a cave, so the technology is going to be less advanced because there's no money involved, if that makes sense, or credits, however you want to look at it. Now, when it comes to making these breakdowns, it tends to be, should this be included? Is it something that's, really needed? And as a Star Wars fan, I just like to also discuss things, but a lot of people might not be aware of what is making him have nightmares. And the reason is because he's having, I guess, PTSD of the events of Anakin turning into Darth Vader, the death of Padme, and of course the birth of the twins, Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker. And that also helps out to set up why he's there and why he's so prominent in wanting to protect Luke and even train Luke, which we will see later on when the episode progresses. But of course, his uncle Owen will not allow this to happen, and we'll get into that later, but it's all going to link to the original movie where Luke finally leaves his nest, so to say, and never knows that Anakin is his father. The one thing that's going to be the glitchy part is how do they explain how Anakin, aka Darth Vader, has forgot about Obi-Wan. And I think something is going to come into play now where either memory is going to be erased or Anakin thinks he kills Obi-Wan in this series. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think Anakin is going to think that he kills Obi-Wan in this series, but Obi-Wan comes back to protect Luke. And in doing so, Anakin never even finds out Luke is alive because he never knows in the first place that he's alive. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think that Obi-Wan's going to kill the Inquisitors or have something to do with getting rid of the Inquisitors, and it's going to bring the attention of Darth Vader to Obi-Wan. Epic battle at the end. Anakin thinks he won, aka Darth Vader thinks he wins, and then Obi-Wan. But this is why it's also bothering Obi-Wan, is because he feels he failed Anakin and everyone in his wake because of him taking on one of the biggest prominent things as a Jedi Master of the one that, or the person, the chosen one, aka Anakin, and failing in making him the chosen one. And honestly, I always feel like Anakin was the chosen one to create Luke and Leia, which would bring balance to the Force. But hey, things also change that way as well. And looky here, we have a SCURRIER. Now, if you're not familiar, SCURRIERs were actually first introduced in the special editions. Let me rephrase this: special editions of A New Hope. Basically, SCURRIERs were added into the foreground of Tatooine when they first enter into Mos Eisley. And here's the reason why this is a big deal. Because back when, and I think I've seen George Lucas talk about back when he made the first Star Wars movies, he wanted to make very small creatures, but they couldn't do animatronics that small. So when he had the chance to do CGI, he introduced the creatures, as you see here on the top screen here, in A New Hope. But this is the special edition where you see the Scurriers right here. And later they did make their nice little return in The Mandalorian as well. So it's nice to see that they're always showing love to these little creatures that are just so freaking adorable. So there you go. This is a Scurrier. And finally, we get to see a young Luke Skywalker here with his Uncle Owen. Now, if you remember, these are he was actually adopted by Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru because of Anakin turning to the dark side and them hiding Luke. So their whole goal in this is always to make sure that Luke never knows who his father is, and that he has the capabilities of becoming a Jedi. And we fortunately will not going to get to see anything happen with Luke as far as Force powers, unless they hint to it for some reason. But I don't think it's ever going to happen, because you can see the struggle he had in the original New Hope movie. And so I foresee that still being something that he won't do. But hey, we may get a surprise. You never know. Now, I'm calling this part Luke's dream. If you remember in the original New Hope series, he always had the passion to become part of the Rebel Alliance and fight for the Rebels. And so his aspiring dreams to fly and be a pilot has always been there. And it's something him and his father always share in common. And it's nice to see them show love to that whole idea, where he embraces the fighter pilot in him, that he always will, because of it being in his bloodline. And honestly, I feel as far as fighter piloting, the bloodline of being a fighter pilot changed with Kylo Ren, where he didn't, where Ben Solo basically was more wanting to be a Sith than a fighter pilot. So that would be the switch off, where Anakin loved being a fighter pilot. The idea of it was great. Pod racing and fighter pilot, same thing here. It was something that was in Luke's blood that he always wanted to do. And it's so nice to see them show love to simple things like this. That, as a fan, was a major reason why I loved the original trilogy. Holy crap, this makes sense now. And I never knew this to be. But if you remember, in A New Hope, Luke is playing with a small ship model like this when he's cleaning up the droids. And there was no speculation of where he got it or anything like that. And to know that what's going to end up happening is this is going to be gifted to Luke from Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think Luke will never know it. He will never know it. So when we see him playing with it in the original movie, oh, that's so amazing. And I was waiting for this moment. So in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan becomes infatuated, he falls in love, depends on how you want to look at it, to the Duchess Satine. And in the show, she actually ends up nicknaming Obi-Wan as Ben. So we finally see him using that name as a way to hide on Tatooine, which, of course, totally puts into perspective and makes total sense why he uses that name even in the original movies, which I don't even think that was on purpose. I think it just worked too well, especially with Order 66 initiating out. He's not going to want to be called Obi-Wan Kenobi, no matter who calls him that, outside of maybe Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. But again, even towards Luke, he calls him Ben. And right here, this is the reason why Obi-Wan strays from Luke, to protect Leia. This is Princess Leia. This is where she gets raised as Princess Leia Organa. Like, I love how they're hiding her face, but this is clearly Princess Leia. Oh, I can't wait to see her as a little girl. She's going to be so adorable. I can't wait. Oh, this is going to be a memory of Carrie Fisher, too. It's going to be so wonderful. I'm going to probably cry. Maybe I should record the cry. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll record it. I'm probably going to tear up. This is probably the perfect moment to talk about it, because I was trying to figure out if we were going to actually see the planet itself, but this is a prime example, perfect time, especially with seeing the Organa family, Princess Leia, and then now the backdrop. This is Alderaan, ladies and gentlemen. And for those that are not aware, and if you're not aware, out of all the Star Wars things to watch, not watching A New Hope is honestly, in my eyes, sacrilege. If you watch anything Star Wars, you need to at least educate yourself on A New Hope. And during A New Hope, Princess Leia's world gets destroyed by the Death Star. This is that world, the beautiful world of Alderaan, that gets destroyed by the Death Star. It's funny how they put so much beauty into this planet because of what it becomes and a major part of the love it deserves to see this planet now more observant, more wonderful. This is just the first episode, part 1, and we're already seeing some of the fantastic moments in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This is Alderaan, and I miss it already. I paused it as soon as I saw him. I don't know if this is the original C-3PO, the one that was with Luke, the one that is with Anakin and all of them. I don't know if this is that C-3PO, but if it is, oh, the moment. And what makes it sad, though, is there's no R2 here with him because they're separated. Oh, I know they're just droids, but that makes me sad. I just had to add, I was saying, is this C-3PO? It is. Before I even unpause it, I was like, wait, look at the leg. And guys, he's got the silver leg. This is OG C-3PO. Oh my God. It warms my heart to see that even at a young age, Princess Leia's analogies, references, things of that nature when it comes to creatures is just amazing. If you remember, her calling Solo a scruffy-looking nerf herder is such an iconic name that she called it that they actually had to make nerf herders and things of that nature to put into the world of Star Wars. And we've just got another one. Ladies and gentlemen, she referenced a JAKOBEAST. Now, a JAKOBEAST is pretty much a lion, tiger, saber-tooth tiger hybrid in the world of Star Wars. And it's not really been in anything outside of the books. So to hear a JAKOBEAST mentioned, oh, that is deep lore cut. And I love that Princess Leia was the one saying, I'd rather be digested by a JAKOBEAST. Well, he could digest you because he's big and you're little, but it's nice to see your bravery in this, Leia. So adorable. And I love the little actress they got for her. Oh, so cute. Oh my God. The deep cuts they're pulling from here. Senator Bail Organa, which I don't even think I mentioned Senator Bail Organa, but he was actually in the prequels as well. He was in Revenge of the Sith, where he actually adopts Princess Leia as a baby. But he ends up mentioning PURRGIL. PURRGIL is a whale-like creature that flies in space. And that's a deep cut to bring up PURRGILs in this series. Again, the deep cuts with PURRGIL and JAKOBEAST, and it's just going to keep going and going and going. And I'm just loving every bit of it. And the funny thing is I still have part 2 to do, the review, which you've already seen because it would be already recorded and put into the beginning of this video. So I have a lot that I have to get through. And I still have another thing, but I'm not going to mention that. Anyway, a lot. But I'm loving this so far. Loving part 1 so far so much. Loving it. Oh my God, that's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know if he's actually an Inquisitor. I mean, he's dressed really normal to be an Inquisitor, especially with that shirt, but Flea is the bad guy in Star Wars. Isn't it amazing? Dude, that just got me chills. That's so cool. Ah. And now we move on to part 2. Part 2, I don't know how long it's going to be. If you just noticed, we literally had 20 minutes of Easter eggs and full breakdown in part 1, not even including the reviews. This is going to be massive. With that being said, here is the full breakdown of the Easter eggs, hidden, things of that nature, for Obi-Wan Kenobi, part 2. Now, this is new to me. A location called DAIYU. Now, I'm not sure what DAIYU is, and I'm sure... Actually, hold on. Okay, so I did look it up. Everyone online is always ahead of me. It just takes so long to record, but they've already got the Wikipedia with DAIYU being first appearance in this series. So if you're here to question what is DAIYU, well, it's a brand new location. Oh, Mr. Temuera Morrison, aren't you lucky? As long as Boba Fett or any clone trooper is around in the Star Wars universe, you get to play them. What do I mean? Well, if you remember, Temuera Morrison actually plays Jango Fett and every clone trooper in the original prequels. And then, of course, Book of Boba Fett, he plays an older Boba Fett. And now we have a veteran clone trooper played by Temuera Morrison. This is just, I love it. I love that he gets to do this. And here we have the seventh sister. I was wondering if we were going to get any more of the Inquisitors. So this is pretty cool to see the seventh sister. So, again, keep in mind, the Inquisitors have been a lore that's been in the comic books and books. So it's really cool. Well, of course, and the Rebel series. But it's so cool to see the Inquisitors fleshed out as actual human people, actors, actresses, so on and so forth. And so I'm pretty excited that we finally get to see another one of the sisters. So for those that are wondering what he's talking about here to Princess Leia, about she reminds him of someone. She's a lot like Padme, her mama. And it's so good. The actress that got to play this little girl, she is so much like Padme. So much like actual Princess Leia, a.k.a. Carrie Fisher, that this is just... These moments with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan and her as Princess Leia is just outstanding. I am loving this series so far. Oh my god! It's Anakin as Darth Vader. They did a good job. But oh my god, this episode is literally half the length of part 1. And now we gotta wait till part 3. God, I can't wait. Oh my god. Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. This is Darth Vader. We are looking at Darth Vader. And there you guys have it. That is my full breakdown of part 1 and part 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I will say this is probably up there towards Mandalorian, but I feel like I'm going to have to wait until the later episodes. So far, I'm enjoying this. The little girl that plays Princess Leia is freaking amazing. And this also makes more sense now why she knew Obi-Wan Kenobi. But, of course, Luke doesn't. He just knows Ben Kenobi. You know what I mean? So, it's understandable how they're doing a good job. I'm just going to say that. They're doing a good job of giving us another chance at him fighting Anakin. And I think what's going to happen is Obi-Wan is going to fight Darth Vader. So, for example, let me explain why I understand the connection so far. And it's basically me predicting. Starting from starting from Revenge of the Sith. Let's not even start from Phantom Menace. Starting from Revenge of the Sith, we see that Obi-Wan apparently thinks that Anakin is dead based on what happened to him at Mustafar. But he isn't. So, I believe Anakin is sending out for Obi-Wan because Anakin knew that Obi-Wan was alive when he first became Darth Vader. But he didn't know that his kids and Padme were alive. So, I think that the Princess Leia thing was set up by Emperor Palpatine, while Anakin was searching out for Obi-Wan. There's two different roles going on here. Emperor Palpatine wanting to get rid of the kids so Anakin won't have a connection to the light side because of his kids, while Anakin wants to go after Obi-Wan. And what's going to end up happening is that Obi-Wan is going to drop the name and go back to Ben to protect Luke. What's going to end up happening, though, is prior to this, Anakin, a.k.a. Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan are going to have one final fight, and Anakin, a.k.a. Darth Vader, is going to think that he wins, and that Obi-Wan Kenobi is dead. That's the reason why, when you watch him say, "I'm feeling a sense I haven't felt since," and then he doesn't answer his own question in the original movie, that's because this is the part where he gets into that. This is also why Princess Leia is familiar with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke isn't. Like, they're connecting things really well. And yes, it does make things predictable because we know about the stuff, but it's starting to make more and more sense. And this is also with Princess Leia getting kidnapped and that whole connection. It makes more sense why he would leave his post to watch Luke, because also Princess Leia has way more to offer that could take down the Emperor than Luke, while Luke is just basically a moisture farmer. They don't care about Luke as much, or I should say Emperor Palpatine doesn't care about Luke as much. I think eventually he does get interested in Luke, but he's more afraid of Princess Leia because of her strength. So, as far as like democratically her as a character, plus you gotta remember, Emperor Palpatine, or Palpatine himself, worked with Padme, Queen Amidala, and knows the strength of the female relationship within that lineage. He looked past Luke thinking it wouldn't be a big deal, probably. And that also starts fitting pieces of the puzzle together. So I'm pretty excited of how this series event is going to happen, because it feels like it's going to connect so many parts from the prequels to the original movies that it's going to be one of those things that you definitely are going to want to watch to connect the puzzles. And honestly, even the little things like the mannerisms that Ewan McGregor is pulling off of Alec McGuinness when he touches his beard, pulling his beard, things of that nature are so well done that Ewan McGregor was made for this role, much like Ryan Reynolds was made for Deadpool. Yeah, name drop, but it's true. And so, with that being said, guys, it's been amazing doing this review and this full breakdown. I can't wait to see the next 4 episodes. You guys know you'll be right there along with me, doing full breakdowns of everything. I can't wait. With that being said, as always, I'm Putty with the G-Pod crew, and you know we do reviews of Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll see you guys at part 3. Peace.